Greetings, Virgo and Virgo rising. This is your Western forecast for January 2024. There's a major lineup, a major emphasis on your fifth house. That's because there's going to be 5 planets in the Earth sign of Capricorn, all in harmony with Virgo and Earth sign. And Capricorn, where all these planets are lined up, is in your 5th house. Because Capricorn's 5 signs past Virgo, the 5th house is the house of creative expression, of romance, of children, of entertainment. So we're going to explore all of that, plus decision-making Mercury, rational Mercury, your ruling planet, as Mercury is associated, that Virgo's associated with Mercury. Mercury's been retrograde the last couple of weeks of December, and as of January the 1st, Mercury is now starting to move forwards in the sign of Sagittarius, which is 4 signs past Virgo. So the first 13 days, as Mercury is trying to catch back up to its speed, when it first goes direct, it's going so slow that our mental faculties are also sluggish, not trusting, being overly cautious. But at least it's not retrograde where things are going backwards and you're second guessing or misunderstandings. But your mind, Mercury going direct, is going to have a lot to do on 4th house matters of real estate, home, family. Jupiter was retrograde the last several months of 2023. And as of December the 30th, 2023, Jupiter is now going direct and remaining direct in Taurus, excellent with Virgo, because Taurus is also an earth sign, for the first 5 months of 2024. So the Jupiter is just slowly picking up speed to be able to release its blessings, its promises, its opportunities. Very favorable in general for Virgo because they're both earth signs. But the Jupiter, it will be moving through the 9th. And the 9th is travel and higher education and media and marketing. But since Jupiter is the natural ruler of the 9th, that's because the 9th sign of the zodiac is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So the 9th house, Sagittarius, Jupiter, all rule basically the same information. So here's Jupiter, that's about traveling, marketing, education, hanging out, bringing a lot of growth and luck to the 9th house of higher education and traveling and marketing. So there's a lot of really good energy to explore here. But before I start unpacking it in more detail, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find a link that takes you to my website where you can book an astrology reading or inquire about my 2-question offer. All right, Mercury, rational decision-making Mercury. What are you thinking about Mercury? Now direct the first 13 days with your focus on home and family. Changes on maybe home repairs, maybe thinking about investing in real estate. Maybe this is organizing family events. Venus, pleasurable Venus, will also be in Sagittarius once a year from December the 29th through January the 23rd. So at least the first 13 days, decision-making Mercury will be aligned with pleasurable, creative, romantic Venus in your 4th. Now, That could be entertaining at home. The Venus is the entertaining, the fourth is the home. Bringing the family together for, a holiday, a gathering, a reunion. But this could also be when you're starting to really think about making home repairs or remodeling, beautifying your home, because the Venus is the pleasure and the beautifying, and the Mercury is all that decision making. So it's very favorable for your home life. It's very favorable for the family life. And with Jupiter moving forwards in the ninth, Jupiter in the ninth really favors long distance traveling. And with Mercury and Venus in Sag, and Sag is ruled by Jupiter, Sag is the traveling planet, but they're impacting your fourth house of family. You could be traveling long distance to family, or gathering the family together, making plans maybe at the beginning of January, unless you're traveling, but could be making travel plans with family. And it might be to see a new baby, for a wedding, for a big family reunion, because the fifth house is very much emphasized. The fifth house is that house of parties and recreational activities, vacations. But the fifth house also represents romance and children, giving birth to creative projects. That fifth house is one of the most pleasurable areas of the chart. Now, let's just step aside here. In business, the fifth house can be about investing or speculating. And with that emphasis on at least the first 3 weeks of January with real estate, this could be you might be really considering investing in real estate, or if you are just remodeling. Now, back to the fifth house. The sun is in Capricorn, shining on your fifth house, Capricorn and Earth sign, the first 20 days, every January. Where the sun is shining is where your priorities, intention is being drawn to, the fifth house. Pluto is at the last degree of Capricorn. Pluto takes 243 years to move through all the signs of the zodiac. Pluto's about death and rebirth, major transformations. Pluto is at the last degree of Capricorn, the first 20 days, and then it moves into Aquarius till the end of August. Then it retrogrades briefly back into Capricorn, and by the end of November 2024, it's back into Aquarius for nearly 20 years, once every 243 years. I talked a lot about it in my yearly forecast. But having the sun putting a spotlight on your fifth house, aligning with Pluto in Capricorn in your first house, that fifth house, there's some really profound, that's Pluto, transformational energies. Well, and maybe in a really basic way, if you have a baby, it's very transformational with the family and with your life. If you're giving birth to a major new creative project, that could also change your life. And Mars, courageous warrior Mars, is in Capricorn once every 2 years. It's the best sign for Capricorn, for Mars to be in, because Mars by itself is the warrior planet. It's fiery, it's impatient, it's argumentative, it's irritable when it's weak. But when it's going through Capricorn, it's the strongest. It's called Capricorn is the exalted sign for Mars, meaning that Mars can give its best results, because that Capricorn kind of channels and disciplines all that fiery Mars. And the Mars in Capricorn, January the 4th till February the 12th, every 2 years. So these first 20 days, the Sun and Pluto and Mars are all in the 5th house. This, in business, this could be taking big risks. That's that courageous Mars with speculation, gambling, and investing. But this could also trigger a tremendous amount of passion romantically or passion creatively. Now, the new moon will be in Capricorn on January the 11th. By the new moon, it kind of really crystallizes your intentions on 5th house matters. And it stays there, keeping your attention until the next new moon in Aquarius, which is February the 9th. Now, I'm bringing that up because the Sun and Pluto will leave Capricorn on the 20th and move into Aquarius, leaving your 5th house of pleasure, going into the 6th house of your duties and work obligations. But when the Sun and Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 20th, it is starting to add in a much more interest in activity with 6th house matters, which I'll get back to. But the dominant theme of Capricorn and the 5th house remains because the new moon holds that energy till February the 9th, and that assertive, courageous Mars is in Capricorn in your 5th until February the 12th. So the dominant theme remains with pleasurable, recreational, creative 5th house. But because it's so life-changing because of the Pluto, especially with the Pluto-Mars, you could be falling in love obsessively, to having a baby, getting pregnant, and all that is life-changing. Venus is that, I talked about pleasurable Venus. Venus is what we love and value. Venus goes into, leaves Sagittarius, leaves your 4th house of home and family, and goes into Capricorn on January the 23rd into the 5th house. That could also start bringing in more loving desire for romance, for children, especially creativity. Now, that Sun-Pluto in Aquarius on the 20th, it leaves the 5th house and now starts going into the 6th house. The 6th house could be, well, if we're talking about children, because astrology can be very layered, if we're talking about children, then the 6th house of body maintenance would be emphasized. And that Pluto will be in Aquarius this second time, actually, from January the 20th to the end of August. And if you're pregnant, you would be dealing with a lot of body changes. And the Sun is putting a real emphasis on it, starting on the 20th of January for those next 4 weeks. Now, some of you may also be wanting to be dealing with cosmetic treatments, cosmetic surgery, because there's this big emphasis on changing of the body, but there's all that emphasis on the 5th house of more creative, enjoyable energies. Now, the Jupiter in the 9th for the first 5 months. Yes, it's really favorable for education, really favorable advancing with media and marketing. But the ninth house is the house sector of higher education. And Jupiter is the planet that seeks knowledge. The fifth house has a lot to do with children. And so it could even be that you are teaching children, or maybe you are learning, getting a degree or taking classes that deals with the subject of children. And then the Pluto going into 6 being of service. Now, this is part of the forecast where I like to look at how do all these influences impacts your body, your relationships, your business. I've touched on some of this, but in summary, the Sun and Pluto on the 12th goes into the 6th. The 6th is body maintenance. You're going to be, that Sun, there's a real emphasis on making very favorable changes with your body, from health and for self-improvement to maybe even cosmetic treatments. But you could certainly be really overhauling your diet for self-improvement. With relationships, all that fifth house is, I said, is pleasurable, it's romantic, but with Venus in the 4th, the first 3 weeks, Venus is very pleasurable, and the 4th could be family, and that 5th is parties and recreational activities. You might even be hosting or entertaining a party at your home or with a family reunion. That 5th house is a lot of people, you're either going to be infatuated, falling in love, very romantic energy. And if you're already married and you're already thinking about babies, that 5th house also brings romance back into the picture. The 5th house is parties, entertainment, vacations. Any of those areas could also really awaken the romance back more into an existing relationship. And when it comes to business, the 5th house, that focus is, 5th house could be giving entertainment. 5th house is also sports. You know, sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So whether it's entertainment business, the sports business, or in just investing and speculating, that's the 5th house. And then having that Pluto going into the 6th, that could also, and then with the Sun, that could start to get really, really obsessed, if you will, with getting, doing all the foundational work activities to give birth to any of these creative projects. And yes, giving birth to a child, but giving birth to a new creative outlet. And with Jupiter in the 9th also represents media, publishing, and marketing. So this could be really favorable for having, in the entertainment business, but also kind of promoting and marketing an online business and promoting it in all new creative ways, or giving birth to a whole new online business. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or inquire about my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.go. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.